Hey everybody, this is Melissa Michaels. I'm a writer and an aspiring novelist. I'm actually I decided to do this video because I realized that I didn't really do a proper introduction to myself, and so I figured I better do a actual introduction uh, to my audience and let them know, a little bit about me, I guess. So, I am a retired nurse. I worked as a nurse for like 31 years, and I'm not one of these people that like always knew they wanted to be a writer from when they were a little person. I did not decide I didn't realize that I wanted to be a writer until way into my adulthood, as you can see with the gray hairs. I was an avid reader. I read all kinds of stuff, and I settled on my favorite or my preference being urban fantasy. My favorite writer or author is, can you not sniff my belly while I'm making this video? I love you though. I love you. My favorite author is Kim Harrison, and Kim is the reason that I actually started writing. I love Kim Harrison. I love her books. I love The Hollows. I love her style. I love her voice. I love Rachel Morgan. I love Ivy and Jinx, all of those. But my favorite character in this series is actually Ivy, which she is a supporting character, an important supporting character, but she's a supporting character in Kim's series. So, being that Ivy's my favorite character, I would always get a little perturbed when Kim has a tendency to sideline Ivy. And I understand her logic, and I've heard her in interviews why she decides to sideline Ivy. And it's because Ivy, she's one of those ride or die girls that is like, she's like, you tell her a problem, then she thinks you want her to solve the problem, so that's what she's going to do. So I get it. I get why she doesn't really include Ivy as much as I would like, being that she's my favorite character in the series. So how did this lead me to writing? Well, I decided that I would write a character, Raven, that was my Ivy, in a story all her own, where she gets to be the protagonist and featured in, the main feature of the book. And I'm sorry, he's gonna bark. He's a German Shepherd. They bark at everything. Apologies. So he's looking at me. So in writing this story, Raven's Revenge, not only am I concentrating on making sure, that I do justice to my Ivy-like character, but I'm also very cognizant that in my book that I'm writing, somebody may fall in love with one of my side characters. So my goal is not to sideline anybody that's important to the book, or that's actually important to the protagonist, in their life. I know there'll be times where some of the side characters may have to scoot out for a chapter or two, but I'm not going to go 4 or 5 chapters without the companion not being featured in some way. So right now I'm in the process of rewriting draft 1, and one of the things that I realized in draft 1 is that I really can't figure out a good way to put one of the main side characters in book 1, because this is going to be a series, and I can't figure out how to put this person in book 1, and it's driving me crazy. But I mean, I know I can put them in book 2, but I don't know if I can I don't know if they can be in book 1 without the book just being too much, just too much. So, because there's a lot going on in book 1. So that's what led me to become a writer after I retired. I've written short stories, and to be honest, the short story that I wrote, Raven's Transformation, was that was the spark, because I had got tired of not seeing my favorite character in Kim's book as much as I wanted to. And I was like, well, Kim's the author, so she can do whatever she wants. So if I write a story, I can do what I want. So Raven's Transformation was the idea that came to me, and it was a short story. But now I want to write a novel length book. And what I have discovered in writing this novel length book is it definitely can be a series. And not only can it be a series, but it's a whole world building thing where you can have novellas and different things shooting off from it. So that is how I went from reader, avid reader, to writer. And that is where I am. I'm working hard to tell Raven's story and all the characters that are in the book. Right now, I just consulted with one of my beta readers, who she hasn't even read it yet, but I'm consulted with one of my beta readers, and I'm trying to figure out, should I add the second character at the end of the first book or at the beginning of the second book? And they were like, it's your book, it's your series, you do you. I was like, oh, thanks, that was really helpful. So I guess what I'll do is I'll do 2 versions, where one at the end of the book I'll have, for my beta readers, at the end of the book I'll have this character come in, and let them read that part. And then I'll also do one where I'll end the book, but then at the end of that book I'll include the first chapter of the second book, which will include this character that is going to be pivotal to Raven and this whole series. Even though she's a secondary character, but she's going to be pivotal. so she's going to be featured a lot. But anyway, hi, and I'm Melissa Michaels. I'm a aspiring novelist. I am an author already, technically, because I have had a short story published before. But I hope that you will follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And at this moment, I have a web designer designing a website for me with my own domain name and all that stuff. I have a WordPress blog that I have, but I'm going to be hosting everything on my website once I get it done, because eventually I'm going to have merch, and I'm going to have books that you can buy directly from the website. So yeah, I got a lot of work to do. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you come back. Bye.